Well, it's April 4th, 2023, and hopefully you can hear me okay over the sound of the motor here. So, as I mentioned, it's April 4th, 2023. It's been raining last night and this morning, so it's really, really wet out here. I took Elon down and back, I think it's 2 days ago, and removed 2 of the beaver dams, 3 days ago that was. And I went down either 2 days ago and saw that the beaver were already building back the dams. I took the big logs out by hand. Thea and I drove down, and so I know that I have to go down and either take Elon down to remove the dams, or if the beaver haven't packed them with mud too much yet, I could probably use the Grapple on the front of MiniMe to accomplish the mission. I've got the camera up there on the ROPS, the rollover protection, and I got the microphone on my neck, on my sweatshirt attached to my neck, and then I went back in the house after starting the tractor and gonna go do things. I decided to record this since I'll be using the Grapple to demonstrate to Thea what I think are the best ways of using the Grapple. So this is a skid steer quick attach connection, which you've seen in all the videos, hon. Just going to raise those 2 up. That takes the pins from the bottom of the bucket up and out of attaching, locking the bucket on to the skid steer attachment. Going to move ahead a little bit there. Just going to set it down, curl it forward, gently back up. Now it's disconnected. We'll put it in neutral. Get lined up with the whatever the attachment that we're going to put on the skid steer quick attachment. Make sure the hoses are not in the way, and then get the proper angle. Bring it back. Now I'm going to turn the tractor off. Lock the pins from the skid steer quick attachment down. So they're both down, so now it's hooked onto here, so when I tilt forward, the Grapple isn't going to fall off. Now I'm going to set the loader all the way down and release all pressure. Press both of so these are the 2 buttons right here for the third function for the hydraulics. And of course I didn't bring these are pretty clean though. So we always want to make sure our connectors are good and clean, no dirt on them, because that's going to get into the hydraulics. And there's pressure in here right now. So I'm going to hook them together. Let the pressure out. So now there's 0 pressure. On hot sunny days, the pressure can really build up in this system and you have a hard time connecting and disconnecting. There's a small little cutout for where the pin on this part here goes to, so I'm just going to go ahead and push that so they come apart. And we'll get these things hooked up here. So it's male to female. So one is on. Always want to pay attention where your hoses are setting as well. Okay, both are on, and you'll actually hear it clip when it's good. The hoses do hang down pretty close to the ground, so you need to pay attention to it. The other thing is I don't have the screen on the front of the tractor guard, so there's a grate that I bought that I haven't installed yet. Because the reason I'm mentioning that is when you're grabbing brush and all, there might be a stick that sticks up and poke right through the grill guard and right into the radiator. So we don't want that. So I'll start it up, raise it up, upper button opens it, lower button closes it. Okay, curl back, tilt forward, lift and lower, just like the front end loader on the tractor. So we're going to go down to the first swale or spillway. There's tons of brush to pick up, limbs and trees that I've got to cut. So if I do post this, for those of you watching, since I'm traveling without weight, I just put it into high gear. The other thing is we've got the ballasts on the back, very heavy weights in a ballast box. So if we pick something up heavy up here, it's not going to put too much weight on those front axles, and it'll be less of a chance of us tilting the tractor over and getting hurt and doing damage. And again, if it's too much weight, this grapple will work right on the bigger tractor after we get the snowblower off it. And the grapple can be used as a rake for back dragging. It's kind of wide. The teeth are about 10 inches apart or 12 inches apart. So it's not a great rake, but to scoop up brush into a neat pile, that's pretty easy to do. But again, you can't really see from where I'm sitting. It's a little bit better angle, I think, with the camera up there. You can't really see if a piece of brush is going to come through and go through the grill guard. So yes, they have been working down here. So a couple of things. We'll go into detent, so I might as well go into that now. So if I push the loader arm forward like this, it'll pick the front of the tractor up. We don't want that. In order for it not to pick the tractor up, instead of pushing forward like that and going like this, we go all the way forward. Now the hydraulic fluid will just flow through, and no matter where the tractor loader arms are relative to the pile that you're picking up, it won't dig into the ground. So that's important. So pull it back out of detent. That's in detent. That's out of detent. That's up. That's down. That's detent. Out of detent. So we're going to open this up, and we're going to come down here. Going to go to the other side. Well, we're actually going to and I really need to go into low gear for this. Okay, now I'm going to push it into detent. So now I've just grabbed the material without lifting the tractor up. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick up a little bit, took it out of detent. Start going backwards. And I was going to grab a whole bunch more, but I'm not going to do it right now. What I'm going to do is go up and deposit this up ahead. Going to put it back into high gear. I'm going to go ahead and hit the lower button again, just to tighten up the grip on the grapple. Always being aware of what's out on the ends, so I'm not wiping things out. Okay, so this is kind of muddy here, so I'm going to stop. I'll turn the throttle down just so you can hear me better. Put her all the way down into low gear, and I'm going to lock her into, it was locked into four-wheel drive. Didn't need to have it in four-wheel drive. Tilt it like that, open it up, material comes out. Gonna go ahead and close it down, back out of here. We'll come back and get that in a couple of minutes. Having a grapple on a tractor, even if it's a subcompact tractor, smaller than this one, and what we'll learn to do is we'll go around the various areas and pick up small groups of it, put it into a pile, and then carefully pick up a larger pile at a time and move it to one of the viticulture pits. Open it, upper button opens it. Go down into low gear for right now. Go down to where I'm just touching the surface here. I don't want to dig any trenches here. Now I'm going to put it into detent. Now the front loader will go up and down, float as I go, but the teeth will still start to dig in. I'm going to go ahead and curl it. Now I've got the front teeth of the grapple and the teeth next to me pretty close. I'll start to close it some. As I'm doing this, as I press on the upper part, it tends to pick up the teeth of the part closest to me up. So I curl it back, do a little bits at a time. Now I've got quite a bit in there. Take it out of detent, bring it up. I'm still in low gear right now. Put it into a higher gear. Gonna go ahead and hit the lower button again. Upper opens, lower closes. Upper opens, lower closes. After you do it for a little while, it'll become second nature. But in the springtime, like this is right now, I haven't had the grapple on in a few months. So, down into low gear, as I'm going over the I'll take material from the pond 7 that I dug out, and that'll cover that up some. Okay, I'm going to go over to this one. Not a lot over here. They didn't really build up too much. Right there, there's a fairly steep drop off. So now I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to curl it forward. Now I'm going to put it into detent. Now the loader arms will come up and down. And what I want to do, the teeth closest to me are not going to be hooking onto anything. Only want it so the teeth on the far side, the upper part, are down and pulling back. We don't want it all like this because we don't want to drag a pile close to the tractor. We only want the teeth of the grapple on that side pulling. So now we'll just gently go backwards some. It's in float, so it's going to go up and down with the contour of the soil. Now we're going to stop. Now again, it's in detent. So as I relax, pull the bucket back or curl it back, it starts to do what we want. So now I'm going to go ahead and start to close, lower button. So I've got it closed all the way now. Now I can pick it up. And don't worry, you're not going to get it all the time. A grapple is to drastically reduce the amount of physical labor you have to pick up on the ground. It's not necessarily meant to eliminate it. Maybe in the future it will. Now open it. Always be mindful of what could be sticking through that and going into the tractor itself and going through the grill guard. So I'm going to go up here one more time. I'm going to tilt the bucket forward. Now the teeth are sticking down. I'm going to put it in the float. Now the arms will come up and down. If you watch the arms in relation to the hood, it will change as I go backwards or as they dig in. Now you see the teeth on this side are still up. So what I'm going to do is bring it down like that, start to close it, bring it down, close it. I don't know that we're going to have very much in there at all. Well, we got that one stick. So that's actually pretty good for getting that out of there. Close, open, lower button, upper button. I don't like using it this early in the season unless the ground is starting to dry up by the food forest or in the lawn. Even though there's tons of branches, we can put them in piles by hand. Now, I am going to use the teeth on this back part, so the grapple goes like this. I'm going to use the teeth on the lower part to sort of push some of this because it's on different angles. Turn it back into low. Now I'm going to stop, put it into detent, curl it down, close, close. So I'm actually doing two things at one time. I'm actually curling back the bucket, if it was a bucket, curling back the grapple at the same time as closing it. Because if we just close it, it's going to sweep the stuff underneath the unit. down into low, tilting it forward, opening, shake it a little bit, close it, so now we're going to go over to the other side of the spillway there that we came down initially and grab that material out. And we'll grab up some of that material that's there. And instead of putting it into the hugelkultur pit way up above, I think what we'll do is just grab it and go back there where I'm going to build that new expansion of the road. Well, I see there's still some muddy material there. And that's something, what they do is the beaver will go over and get some of the brush, the limbs. They'll grab some of the limbs from trees that are down, chop off some of the big bushes that are sticking out. And they'll put them in the water, and the stream wants to bring it down. Some of the first ones will go lengthwise, and then the branches sort of like lock it in there. Then they start putting them in sideways. If you have muddy, mucky material that they used to pack in around it, that will cling on to material that are coming by, especially when the flow is low. So I'm going to go over there, just grab that little bit, open up the grapple, and I'm tilting the whole grapple forward, putting it into detent, putting it into low, stop, going back a little bit further, so I'm going to go ahead and gradually curl the bucket back at the same time that I'm closing up the grapple. Close, curl back, close, curl back, close, curl back. Now I've got the grapple closed. Now I can pick it up, and I got most of the material out of there. Don't want to smash the camera mount there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and open the grapple. Again, I'm watching closely to see, and it's hard to see if the stick is going to stick through there, but it looks okay. I'm not going to get it all in one. I'm going to put it into detent, start closing, curl back, close, curl back, close, pinch it. So we got some big pieces in there, and that's going to, and I've got it as tight as it will go. So lift it up some, close it more, close it more. Now what I'll do here is shake it a little bit, close it. So you're always rechecking to make sure it's as tight because things twist inside of there. Now I'm going to start coming around. Can't go back too far, I'll go right into the pond. So I'm going to lift it up even more. Now you don't want to carry heavy materials up high. More of a chance of tipping it over. But I'm breaking that rule because I know I've got good solid area here. There's no potholes. So if that front wheel goes into a pothole or a soft spot with a bucket up, the tractor can tip over. So number one, you want to have the ballast behind the rear wheels. I like that more than just loaded rear wheels. The further back the weight is, the counterbalance is, the less weight we're putting on the front axle. What's one of the weakest parts on all tractors? That front axle, especially subcompact and compact tractors. Now I'll be getting close to a ruddy area right up here, So I will lower the arms of the loader down. Gets ruddy in here. Again, keeping an eye on some of the limbs, making sure that they're not going to go through the radiator up front. Now, I'm going to open it all the way and just use the Alright, so the grapple's like this. I'm just using my thumbs, the lower part of the grapple, just to push that forward. Again, making sure that things don't twist. Just caught a rock right there. And come up and do damage to the equipment. Probably the most common error that I see when people use a grapple or even using the front end loader is not realizing how important it is to use the detent when doing it. So example, right now, up, down, but it stops as soon as I start doing that. If I keep going down, it's going to lift the front of the tractor up. We don't want that if you're going to be grabbing things. You're picking up all kinds of things. You want to go into detent. Now it isn't going to, it's just the weight down there, close and so on. That detent's an amazing thing. Just put it into high. These magnetic mirrors have really worked out beautifully. Always want to know what's coming up behind you or what you're backing into. Put it into low. Just pushing the materials out of the way that I don't want. All right, now into detent. Curl it or curl it forward. Start to close, pick up. Close as much as you can, take it out of detent, start to pick it up, close it more. Don't want to hit my camera mount. Okay there. Really good, we put the stone and the gravel in each one of these spillways and keep them as wide as possible. Now into a higher gear. Give it another squeeze. As I'm bouncing around, material is moving, things are falling. Keep giving it a little squeeze. You don't ride the hydraulics the whole time, but I keep giving it a squeeze every time there's a little bump or whatnot, because material rearranges in there and loosens up, and you can keep dropping more and more material than you hope to. Okay, gonna drop. All right, one of the things with the hydrostatic transmission, if the grease zerks haven't done a perfect job of letting the pedal go back to neutral, sometimes I'll tap it a little bit, and that makes it so that it's not the valve isn't one way or the other, and it's easier to shift into high or low. So just going into low now. Going to ride up over some of these rocks to push them down. So right there, that I could have tipped over there. Just got to get things to dry up here a little bit more. You can't see it on the camera, but the herons are all in their nests out there. When the detent few pieces that fell off, but they're going to keep breaking and snapping. So, into high.